Yesterday, I was the biggest cheeky scrub and give you FPL blue balls as I announced that I'm activating my wildcard and didn't even show you a wildcard draft. But today, don't worry lads, I got you, as this right here is not only a wildcard draft for Game Week 6, but it is my wildcard draft, so obviously it's the best in the world. That's going to probably finish last in the world, but you know, it's okay for now. So obviously some of the players' prices may be slightly different to you, because obviously if I've got some of the players in from the start, like I have with Raya, then I've got 5.5 million. If you're trying to buy him now, 5.6 million, so unlucky for some of you. Thankfully though, this draft right here also has some in the budget, so pretty much every one of you, unless you've been the biggest cheeky scrub, should be able to afford it yourself. So don't copy me, because I want to win, thanks. So my goalkeepers of choice is David Raya. Of course, I've had him from the start. Have I mentioned that yet? I'm not sure. But he's actually not scored the most points out of all keepers right now, but he still has a game to play over them. So, but it is against Man City. But he probably will still be the top point scoring keeper right now. And it doesn't look like he's stopping anytime soon with big boy double-digit hauls and everything already. I think Arsenal defense is just solid. And now using a wildcard now, you're not going to get a wildcard until around here, around Christmas time. Like, little Christmas gift, another wildcard. But realistically, we're probably not going to wildcard into the mid-20s or 30 game weeks, so we could have him for another 20 game weeks. And for this stretch, yeah, he's going to get all of the points, all of the clean sheets. Make sure to get him in. The bench goalkeeper really doesn't matter. I've chose King because why would you not want to have a King cheering you on? That's pretty much it. But the 4 million goalkeeper is obviously not going to play, but make sure you only spend 4 million on it to actually spend the rest of your money in your squad. The number one thing you should actually do with your bench goalkeeper is just choose the goalkeeper that has the nicest kit. And you know what? Even though it's not the best kit, it still looks pretty swazzy to me. So yeah, that's why I've got him in. Then in defense, it has definitely changed from my old team, but that's in the bin already, so no going back. The most expensive defender I am going for is Trent. I've actually not owned him all season, so I am having to pay 7.1 million, but he was a bit OP anyway with all of his goals, assists and all of that. But now that Liverpool defense is literally as solid as a rock, 4 clean sheets in 5 games, that ain't no joke. And I don't want to be a joke not having Trent. Even though his fixtures aren't the greatest upcoming, I think, you know, in a quite close game, they can keep a clean sheet. If he gets a goal assist, he's getting a double-digit pointer again. Yeah, I think I wanted. And then if Liverpool defense starts going wibbly-wobbly, they get a few key injuries or whatever, he's very easy to move on, as obviously he's the most expensive defender. I've also then gone for the Gabriel. So not only do I have a Raya, I have double Arsenal defense in Gabriel. Everybody obviously went for a Saliba over Gabriel because he's more nailed. But what does more nailed mean when you can nail some bullet headers and get some goals? Obviously, Gabriel dos Santos Magola isn't going to score bullet header every game, but he definitely has a higher chance of scoring than a Saliba, and it looks like he's still going to be nailed with. He's actually much improved this season, I would say. So playing teams like Leicester and Southampton are also not great in the air, and also Arsenal have turned into Sean Dyche FC of just trying to whip the ball in and get some set-piece goals all the time. I think another couple of bullet headers for Gabriel, and he could still get a few more 15-pointers. I think Arsenal defence will keep the most clean sheets as well. So for that price, I still think it's worth it. Some wibbly-wobbly fixtures, but again, it's for long-term, and over this run, all of the points. Then our third and potentially starting defenders, we have Colwill and Rico Lewis. Now, Lewis has obviously been starting and also coming off early for the Man City, but he's been playing very well, and more importantly, he still played when Kyle Walker started. Yes, he got subbed at halftime, but that was so he could play the Champions League, right? Narrative, yeah? But he's been playing so well, even though he's rose by a 0.2 million, I still think he's definitely worth it. So for me, I chuck him in here, but maybe you can't trust him to start every game, so that's why I've also gone for a Levi Colwill. He started every game for the Chelsea. I think he will start every game for the Chelsea. He's also creating some chances because he's quite good on the ball too, so you never know, he could get some attacking returns. You're obviously not choosing him for that. But a Chelsea defender, 4.5 million nailed, who you're probably not going to start every week because you can rotate with a Lewis, especially saying that, look at this now, look at this. Amazing 2 fixtures in 6 and 7. Ooh, who do Man City have? They have Newcastle. Ooh, you don't want him for that. No, no, no. Colwill instead. And then Colwill plays like the Liverpool, Man United, Arsenal. Oh, wait, who does Lewis have? He has teams like Fulham, Wolves, Southampton, Bournemouth, Brighton. Amazing. So the idea would be, obviously, to start Trent and Gabriel every week, start one of Colwill or Rico Lewis, and one of them could come on for the either if one of them doesn't play or, you know, any other rotation. But then you've also got the amazing backup option of Van der Berg. Hopefully he won't be a Van den Berg begging him for points and begging him for starts, but he has been starting so far, so maybe he'll be Van den Berger as he's going to be eating on those points. Very good fixture run, but for 4.0 million, he's pretty much just there for a backup. But now with him starting for the Brentford, I think that now makes him the best 4 million defender. I do also like Jacob Greaves, but just a bit spicy differential really in it, so I thought we'll chuck in Van der Berg in there. So that is the defence all sorted, guaranteed to get all of the points. All of them could get attacking returns, but obviously they're part of the best defences in the league as well, so all the routes to the points. And apart from these, there's not actually too many defenders I'd like. Man United defence has actually been keeping some clean sheets, but I don't really like them. The fixture's been okay, but yeah, you just never know with them. And then you've got the likes of Pedro Porro, who, yes, been very attacking, but you can't just rely on those attacking returns. So I think all of these are, you know, if I could pick anybody in the game without the budget, I would still pick these. Am I just saying that because I'm on a wildcard and pick anybody anyway? Yes, but they're still good. Yes. Then in midfield, ooh, this is now where it gets a little bit spicy. I have gone for no Salah. When will we learn? I know. But even though Salah's probably the best captain for Wolves now, because that's actually one of the best fixtures, apart from that fixture, the fixtures actually dry up a little bit for Liverpool. They got Palace away, not easy. Chelsea, Arsenal, Brighton, Villa, Southampton, that's good. But then Man City, Newcastle. So out of those 6, 7, 8, 9, you're probably only going to captain a Liverpool player against Wolves. And realistically, with Haaland playing how well he has been playing and Newcastle defence being as bad as they've been doing, you're probably still going to captain Haaland there. And then with Haaland with these fixtures, you're definitely captaining in there. So if you're not going to pick Salah for 12.7 mil or 12.8 mil he's gone up to now, is it worth it? When for literally almost 5 million cheaper and has actually scored 2 more points than him, you can get a very own Luis Diaz. Now, obviously, he's not going to keep this up, right? 5 goals, 5 games, and 1 assist. He's outscoring Salah right now, and if you watch him, he's literally playing like prime Neymar. He's incredible. But one thing to note, he is getting less minutes than a Salah because he's getting subbed off early. But when you're scoring a brace in the 71 minutes, then you don't need the 90 minutes. Salah's been staying on every game apart from this game. Yes, he's getting more minutes, but for 5 million more and you're not going to captain him, Luis Diaz is definitely the way to go. Then what you're going to do with that budget of not spending on a Salah is go for a Saka. Now, Saka has assisted in every game he's played so far. Obviously, I'm recording this before the Man City game, but he's going to assist you with all the points as he's assisting all the goals for the Arsenal and also getting goals himself. Arsenal, obviously, we're not going to have him for this because that's this week anyway. But then you have Leicester, Southampton, almost a captain shout for there. And then, yes, some tricky fixtures in there, but then very good fixtures longer term. I think Saka for a 10 million is definitely worth it when you can get a Luis Diaz for 7.8 million. And then that also gives you the flexibility to later on get somebody like a Saka out and bring Salah back in when the fixtures turn and maybe drop somebody like a Solanke down or maybe a Trent down if, you know, he's just not pulling up those strings. So right now, I'm like in Boom Saka as the premium mid, as Haaland's going to be basically a perma captain at this point, and then the rest of the squad is looking much more balanced all around. Next to them then, we've got Mboma. Kinder Mbeumo, as, yeah, he just scores the goals, doesn't he? If he had an airline, or Lycée level hype, he looks about 29 like he's in his prime of his career. No, he's literally like a 22, 23 upcoming star, but nobody's talking about it because he does not look that young. But yeah, he's got 4 goals in 4 games already. All right, ignoring the Southampton game, he's still got a goal against Spurs. He's still got a goal against Palace. So these fixtures are actually pretty damn wibbly-wobbly. Playing Spurs, Man City, Liverpool and Palace. Not easy at all. And he still managed to score 4 goals. Damn son. He's also not got a penalty yet. And with Tony gone to Saudi Arabia, then surely Mbeumo's going to get all of the penalties as well. Because he's still a pretty damn good penalty taker. And with these fixtures, he could literally rival the likes of Salah and stuff and still is only 7 million and still actually only 10% owned. So get him while he's differential because after this week, he's going to be one of the most owned. So yeah, the idea would be to start Saka every week, obviously Diaz every week and Mbeumo every week. And then you have the option between Morgan Rogers, who finally got some attacking returns. I have had him from the start, but I've been raving about him from the start. And then as soon as, you know, he had this fixture on, we were like, surely he's going to get points. Not only did he get the 2 assists, he also got the 2 bonus points, so a nice 9-pointer. And even 2 returns in 5 games is absolutely amazing for a 5 million asset. But the fact he's getting 90 minutes for every game for the Villa, don't be a villain and not select him because, yeah, he is just worth keeping. But what I would say is, yes, he's great value, but with that price, you don't need to start him every game. That is why I have gone for the ultra spicy Mavi Daddy. Yes, Steffi Mavididi finally been starting for Leicester, because for some reason he wasn't starting for them at the start of the season. But in the 2 games he started, he's literally scored 2 goals, looked very good. And not only that, he's got a very good fixture run longer term as well, and now only costs 5.3 million, and is now 0.4% owned. Now that is a sexy, spicy differential that I like to see. Now, I have really liked the likes of Semenyo, but I'm kind of thinking what's going to make my wildcard different from the rest, because so many people are wildcarding this week. If you have the exact same wildcard, you're literally wildcarding and staying still. No, we don't want that. We want to move on forward. So what I really like about Rodgers and Amavididi is that this week, Rodgers plays Ipswich, and I would really like to play him there. But if I chose someone like Semenyo who's playing Southampton, am I really going to choose Rodgers over Semenyo? And then all of a sudden I've got a bench dilemma in Game Week 1 of my wildcard, and then I'm not getting the use of either of them. That sounds like pretty wibbly-wobbly stuff to me. But then Mavididi plays Arsenal this week, so you don't want to play him, but then after that has amazing fixtures. Rodgers has fixtures like Man United, Spurs, Liverpool, all of that in here. If we look at who Mavididi is playing in that time, we've got Bournemouth, we've got Ipswich, we've got, Forest, Southampton, all of the much nicer fixtures around there. So them two provide a perfect rotation to have a very sexy fixture for an attacker. But either way, if one of these other geezers decides to not play or get injured or whatever, we still have them as a cover. It's just like the defense. So no matter what, the wildcard's not just good for the start, it's actually good long term for whatever happens. If we get injuries, rotation, all that, I'm not in the mud after like 2-3 weeks just from some slip ups. Otherwise that would be unlucky. Obviously I do have 0.6 mil in the bank, so I could upgrade him to someone like a Smith Rowe or like a lot of other defenders, even like close to a Harvey Barnes and all that. But I'll get to it in a minute. I could also go up even further with a Solanke out, but we'll get to that. We'll get to that. Hold the horses. So up top then, we obviously have Haaland, because why would you be a cheeky scrubber and not pick Haaland? I can't believe he was only like 30% owned at the start of the season. I have had him since the start of the season, so thankfully this 50 mil is just 15.0 mil for me. Obviously he's rose up in price, so he's only 15.1 mil for me. Boo! But yeah, look at this. This is just incredible. 9 goals in four games. He's still obviously got Arsenal to play. He's probably not going to score a hat-trick there. He might, but But yeah, realistically, he could be a captain in every single fixture. Maybe not a Liverpool away. But you'll get to that when you get to that, because with his form, look at this. 11.8. What the hell does that bloody mean? I don't bloody know. But either way, he's scoring all the points. You need him in there. And then next to him, I've got Solanke. So right now, this spot is the one spot that could change the most. Now, I've gone for a Solanke because, one, I think we all know that he's going to get all these chances, right, for the Spurs. He could have scored a few. He could have scored a few in both all 3 of the games he's played so far. But Spurs have a quietly good run for quite a while. Not too many fixtures you'd be like, oh yeah, he's definitely worth a captain. You've got an Ipswich in there and all that. But like, games against like West Ham, you've got Southampton, and you've got other ones where Spurs are also a team who actually quietly taking the most shots, quietly scoring the most goals. And if you're going to have a striker that's right at the focal point of that, not an FPL focal point, a focal point for the team, and you could also be on penalties, then maybe he is one with longer term. And for 7.5 million, I think he's one that you could keep for that long run. He's just going to keep tricking along with getting all those goals and all that and be good there. But you could also get him out and bring in somebody like a Calvert-Lewin. Now, Calvert-Lewin, I mean, do you really want to be spending your unlimited transfers bringing in an Everton forward? This is what I'm saying to myself. I'm like, wait, hang on, I could choose anybody. Yes, let's choose an Everton forward, the team that are looking crap right now. Yeah, but, look at this run for Everton. That run is greener than bloody Shrek. All of the sexy fixtures in there. Obviously, you're not going to like captain or whatever, but playing teams like Ipswich, Southampton, West Ham and all that. Teams you expect to be around them, especially like for conceding. And I think Everton have actually been okay attacking-wise. They've been scoring some goals, obviously not holding on to these leads. And Calvert-Lewin does have 2 goals and could have had a lot more. But what I'm kind of thinking is, for that price, I've actually got him in for 5.9 mil, so stonks. But what I'm kind of thinking is, if I have him there, then that gives me more option to rotate somebody like a Mavididi. I could start the Rodgers and a Mavididi and bench Calvert-Lewin. I could bench all 3 of them and start Colwill and Lewis. Or I could just keep him for those long-run fixtures, and you get him there. And with that, then, you get 2 million in the bank, and you could do somebody like a Mavididi to somebody like a Jared Bowen. Ooh! Now, obviously, Bowen, West Ham have been pretty wibbly-wobbly, and Bowen's still been decent throughout that. But they do have some very good fixtures longer term, obviously some hard ones in here. But West Ham, I think attacking-wise, they're going to be fine. They're going to score all the goals. Obviously, they haven't in the last few games. But Bowen's actually started as a striker against Chelsea. May not continue doing that. But he's staying on the pitch. He is getting the chances. I rate him so much. 7.5 mil, decent differential. So I could go for that if I want somebody like a Calvert-Lewin. But then if I am doing that, then I'm going to start Bowen every week, and then all of a sudden Morgan Rogers is back on my bench every week. Do I want to do that? I'm not so sure. So right now we do have a Solanke in that price spot, but I could also go for somebody like a Nicholas Jackson. Now Jackson obviously just scored 2 goals against West Ham, but that's West Ham tax, and he's got a goal and assist against Wolves, but that's Wolves tax. And he does have some good fixtures, 2 home games, yeah, not the best, but 2 home games. But then some wibbly-wobbly fixtures, so I'm kind of like, he's potentially one of the best strikers for that price point in terms of how he's been playing. He is just finishing those chances. But the fixtures aren't quite there. But then I'm also like, maybe I do go for him and wait for him to actually stop scoring and then transfer him out, rather than be like, no, he's never scoring again. Because, he's looking pretty good with so many good creative players now behind him. But for now, I do like the idea of Solanke, and then that gives me the rotation of the other players as well. And then finally, in my last forward spot, I'm going for a João Pedro. Now, obviously, he's flagged right now. 75% chance playing, 75% chance of being the budget gem of the season. Obviously, he missed the last game. I'm not sure if he's going to make this game, which is literally in like an hour for me, but we'll see. But if he is back and ready and fit for that price and playing all these minutes and, scoring the goals, I definitely think he's worth it. Yes, the fixtures aren't great. Oh, they're actually very wibbly-wobbly, aren't they? Chelsea, Newcastle, Liverpool, Man City are all in there. But for that price, you don't have to start him every week. And yeah, he could also be on penalties, so he could be one worth keeping for the long run. Anyway, if I didn't want to keep him, I could go for Calvert-Lewin here. Then I could still go for somebody like a Solanke or Nicholas Jackson in here. And then all of a sudden, I have a much stronger squad and I don't have to worry about the fixtures as well. Hey, that sounds like pretty tasty stuff to me. But for now, TED Talk over, speaking fluent in Japanese over here. I'm just yapping along. This is what the wildcard team is looking like. So we're going for the triple Arsenal with double Arsenal defense. I think long term they're going to keep the most clean sheets. I'm going for a Trent and a Diaz. I didn't have either of them before, and they're both doing bits. I need to get them in. I've gone for a Haaland and a Rico Lewis. Yeah, you could get more Man City in, but I'm kind of thinking double up of most teams that I could be looking at longer term, because you've still got players like a Foden, a Savio and all that could end up being very good options, but I don't want to lock myself into a 3 and then be like, how do I get this other geezer in? Whereas like an Arsenal, we know who the best ones are, so double Arsenal defence, Saka in there, lovely stuff. We've got some Chelsea with a Colwill, we've got some Brentford with a Vandenberg, but that's for rotation, but Mbuemo. We've got some Villa still with a Morgan Rogers, amazing value. We've got some Spursy with a Solanke. We've got some Leicester, yay! But it's more for the price and the fixtures, from the Mavididi. And then also a João Pedro. So we've got pretty much a bit of everything here. We've got very good rotation and bench depth. And like throughout every week, we'd be likely starting the likes of Raya, Gabriel Trent, probably a Lewis over a Colwill for the start. And then that. Saka, Diaz, and Mbuemo, Rogers in the first week playing Ipswich, and then Solanke, João Pedro, and Haaland. Obviously, they could bench somebody like João Pedro from Mavididi one week. I could bench João Pedro for one of the defenders one week, or they could just provide rotation for each other in any other week and get all of the points. But that right there is it. That is the best wildcard you've ever seen by me, because it's the only one. Thank you. But this isn't just a wildcard draft for Game Week 6. This is my current wildcard draft. So, I'm not one of these content creators going, you need to pick this player. And then a week later, you haven't picked that player. And it's just like, excuse me, who do you think is actually good? No, that is really annoying, isn't it? Never take advice from somebody who doesn't even take their own advice, because is it advice at that point? They're just doing it for content, That's literally me off the team. But shut up. But that's going to be all. Let me know what you think of this wildcard, and are you tempted by the Game Week 6 wildcard? Because realistically, if you don't wildcard now, you're probably not going to wildcard for a good few weeks, because this is where you have the good fixture turns and all that. So this is why I am wildcarding this week. That's going to be all for today, though. Thanks for watching, and also remember...
Don't be a cheeky scrub. Subscribe to Nathan Bacon right now. Don't let your memes be dreams.